When an area is abandoned by humans, nature tends to take back control. Buildings in Kolmanskop, Namibia have been taken over by sandstorms. Vegetation reclaimed the city of Houdawan, China, and fish are the only visitors in the New World Mall in Thailand. Our infrastructure won't last forever, and neither will we. But let's imagine these takeovers on a grander scale. What would happen if all humans suddenly vanished without a trace? One hour after humans, all fossil fuel-powered plants will run out of fuel, causing lights to start to flicker out around the world. Nuclear power plants will remain operational, but some will likely shut down and enter into safe mode to avoid a Chernobyl or Fukushima-like meltdown. 48 hours after humans, cities around the globe go dark, and without functioning water pumps, subways and tunnels around the globe flood. Fermentation tanks in the world's almost 20,000 breweries explode due to excessive heat. 1 week after humans, sewage treatment facilities fail. Without indoor heating or air conditioning, mold grows rapidly on moist surfaces, and pipes freeze and burst. Domestic animals wander outside looking for resources. Unfortunately, most are no longer equipped to live without humans, and they die of starvation or dehydration. The fortunate zoo animals escape their enclosures, while the unfortunate ones meet the same fate as most domestic animals and livestock. Pets that are unable to get outside perish in their homes. Two weeks after humans, 3.5 million tons of garbage goes uncollected, and storms wash some of it out to sea, increasing the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which already measures 617,000 square miles. 1 month after humans, pools of cooling water at nuclear power plants evaporate, causing a series of explosions. The resulting nuclear disasters spread radiation over large areas. Many plants and animals within the affected zones die. Others affected by the radiation mutate, creating new evolutionary lines. The 400,000 human embryos cryogenically frozen in clinics in the United States begin to thaw and decompose. 1 year after humans, new plants and trees help to remove the CO2 from the atmosphere, and once manicured lawns turn into overgrown fields. Weeds grow in cracks in the roads and take root in stone and masonry work. 2 years after humans, the wires powering cable cars in San Francisco, Italy, and other parts of the world rust and snap. Plants and wild grasses have overrun the crops that once supported humanity. 3 years after humans, the International Space Station finally loses enough altitude and falls to Earth. 5 years after humans, watches powered by lithium-ion batteries run out of power and time slips away. 1 decade after humans, methane that has been seeping into buildings from underwater subway passages ignites and causes large explosions in cities across the planet. The Folsom Dam in California collapses. The massive amount of water released during the dam's failure destroys Sacramento. Other dams around the world follow suit. 15 years after humans, the metal on abandoned cars, airplanes, and other transportation erodes, but synthetic plastic and rubber tires could last for centuries. 25 years after humans, concrete structures begin to crack and crumble, pried apart by freeze and thaw cycles in plants. Skyscrapers around the world begin to collapse. 30 years after humans, satellites with dead batteries fall to Earth, largely burning up on re-entry. 75 years after humans, in Australia, the Sydney Opera House collapses and sinks to the bottom of the harbor. 100 years after humans, cables rust through, bridges around the world collapse and are no more. 110 years after humans, ocean waters have transformed sunken oil rigs into underwater ecosystems. 150 years after humans. As the weather cools, Vancouver and other northern cities are slowly buried under layers of snow and ice. Subway tunnels collapse in on themselves, and the streets above them cave in. 175 years after humans, life has finally returned to the former dead zones around nuclear power plants. 200 years after humans, the Eiffel Tower has been eroding and will soon collapse, along with the Empire State Building and Chrysler Building. Plants and trees completely eliminate the excess CO2 in the atmosphere. 500 years after humans, the last plastic toothbrush finally decomposes. Forests return to the state they had 10,000 years ago, as most concrete structures completely crumble and turn to dust. 10,000 years after humans, human civilization is almost entirely buried by sand, water, jungle, and other vegetation. The Great Wall of China is nearly decayed. Though the pyramids of Giza remain, they will soon be swallowed by the desert. The 3 lunar rovers left behind from the Apollo missions survive on the moon. They will stand as one of the final vestiges of human civilization. 20,000 years after humans, the final seeds in the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, which holds the world's largest collection of crop diversity, die. 1 million years after humans, electronic waste, such as our abandoned iPhones, can take 1 to 2 million years to decompose entirely. The last material to deteriorate will be the glass they contain. Our message to alien life beyond Earth, the golden record aboard the Voyager probe, is damaged beyond recognition by space debris. 10 million years after humans, there's a small chance that Elon Musk's Tesla Roadster, which was shot into space in 2018, collides with either Earth or Venus. 100 million years after humans, the only evidence left proving humans once roamed the Earth are our fossilized bones.